certainly like to welcome our Union High School young ladies. This is a fantastic opportunity to listen to a young lady who has been through what it takes in order to make it at the highest level. And unfortunately, not everybody can make it to the highest level. However, we can all have aspirations to be there. And that is the expectation when you go out on any court, on any field, being there, being through it. What you need to do is make sure that you are ready. And I believe Jordyn has done just about everything that she needs to do to become ready for that highest level of competition. And so in just a few minutes, you're going to have a chance to listen to her and what she has to say. But before that, I'd just like to read to you a little bit about it. Jordyn Weiber was born, can you hear me back there?
Yeah.
A little bit louder? I got you. All right. Jordyn Weiber was born on July 12th, 1995, to Rita and David Weiber. Jordyn started her gymnastics career in 1999 at age 4. By the age of 10, Jordyn had already qualified to level 10, the highest level in junior Olympic program. Just 2 years later, she traveled to Tokyo, Japan for the 2011 World Championships. The United States had a very strong showing, taking home the gold medal in the team competition, and Jordyn went on to become the 2011 World Champion in the all-around competition. The Olympic year is considered to be the most important year in a gymnast's career. Her brilliant performance at the Olympic trials earned her a spot on the 2012 Olympic team. The Olympic Games had been a rush of emotions for Jordyn. In team preliminary round, the U.S. advanced to the team finals with the top spot. However, Jordyn did not qualify for the individual all-around finals. Despite disappointment, Jordyn rebounded from adversity to valiantly lead her team. On July 31st, 2012, Jordyn's near flawless performance were key contributions for the U.S. team, securing the gold medal, the Olympic gold medal. The last time the U.S. team won the Olympic gold medal was 16 years ago. Jordyn, for those who don't know, Jordyn attends DeWitt High School, which is in the Lansing area, and says that science is her favorite subject. And she has 3 siblings, Lindsay, Ryan, and Kyra. I'd just like to play a little video before Jordyn comes
I always think about Jordyn up on a beam with cameras in her face and 12,000 people watching and knowing she's on live television. And then at that moment, we want you to do your very best beam routine ever. When she was little, she would stand on her dressing table with one leg while we'd get her dressed. And so we just noticed that, wow, she looks like she's got good balance. What Jordyn loves the most about gymnastics is on the inside, she's got this great feeling or this great sense of accomplishment when she does something for herself.
Here I'm gonna do a back walk.
Try again.
I forgot.
The best way to get something done is to try again.
And we did notice that Jordyn had kind of an unusual intensity about her, or an ability to focus at a very young age.
There you go.
Woo! I'm gonna turn the back up.
Parenting Jordyn was sometimes a little bit of a challenge because of her intensity.
Ready? Ready, Mom?
She just put so much pressure on herself.
Well, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I want to go to the gym. I want to practice hard every single day. So, it's just always been a part of my personality.
She was 10 years old and she wanted to try elite gymnastics. There's a lot more pressure, a lot more expectation, a lot more training hours. So balance was the huge key with her, because I think it would have been easy for her just to go down that straight and narrow little teeny tunnel.
I'm, constantly thinking about practice or what happened in practice or what's going to happen or, my next competition or anything like that. So
we had to make sure that we helped her expand out a little bit. So we've tried very hard to expose her to all kinds of things, make sure she stays in public school.
my mom kind of helps me relax a little bit and just kind of go a little easier on myself.
We laugh a lot in our house. We try to use a lot of humor in every situation because that's how you get through life, I think. Making an Olympic team for every gymnast is probably their ultimate goal. And the hard reality is 5 girls will make the Olympic team every 4 years. It seems so impossible, but I think sports plays a huge role in development of children. Those guts and that ability to perform under pressure like that will carry them through in anything they do.
I think of myself as a normal student, just a normal teenager.
Have a chance to hear from somebody who has participated at the highest and competed at the highest level. With that being said, I want you to please give her your undivided attention and please welcome Miss Jordyn Weiber.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. My name is Jordyn. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here to talk to you guys. It means so much to me to be able to come to schools all around the country and even in the own state of Michigan and talk to people and tell my story. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about my gymnastics career, and then after that we can kind of open it up. You guys can ask any questions you have for me. So like you said, I started gymnastics when I was 4. And originally I got into the sport because my parents noticed I had a lot of muscle definition naturally, so they thought gymnastics would be a good fit for me. So they put me in a little baby class, and I ended up just loving gymnastics. I was doing cartwheels not only in the gym, but at my house. I was, doing flips, as you can tell from the video, everywhere. So I kind of just developed this passion for the sport and just this love of doing gymnastics. So I started getting a little more into it, and by the time I was 6 or 7, I started competing, and just the chance to go out there and perform and show off what I practiced every single day was what I loved about gymnastics, and even to this day, competing is definitely my favorite part. So I kind of moved up through the levels a little bit. I started having to miss a lot of school and go all over the country for competitions, and that became quite a challenge. I had to sacrifice a lot of different things, like going to school full-time and going to football games and school dances and vacations and things like that. Those were a lot of sacrifices I had to make. And that was difficult, but it was what I wanted. I had this goal in my mind. Once I got a little bit older, I realized I want to try to make the Olympics, and that was my goal. So once I had that goal, I decided I was going to dedicate my entire life to trying to make it to the Olympics. But I wanted to still stay in school and try to balance everything. So I worked really, really hard. I started practicing twice a day. So I'd wake up and go to practice in the morning, go to school in between, and then go back to practice in the afternoon. So I was very, very busy. And once 2012 came around, I went to the Olympic trials, and I ended up doing very well, and I made one of the 5 spots on the Olympic team. So that was a dream come true, and just looking back on all those sacrifices that I made of, not being able to hang out with my friends when I wanted to, or, instead of going to the school football game on a Friday night, I was in the gym practicing. So those were a lot of the tough things I had to go through, but just to make that Olympic team was, worth all the sacrifices. So we went to the Olympics, and, I had been world champion the year before, so I was kind of expected to be, in the spotlight. I was expected to shoot for that all-around gold medal. And so when we went to the preliminary competition, there's a certain rule that only 2 people from each country can qualify. So I actually got 4th place at the prelims, but I was 3rd from the U.S., so I didn't qualify to the all-around, and I was pretty much just devastated. It was my dream. Everyone expected me to make it. Everyone, I definitely expected it of myself. So it was kind of a disappointment, and I broke down in tears, and I didn't really know what to do. I just kind of felt lost and confused. But 2 days later, we had the team competition, and for us, the team competition is the most important one. That's where we're competing for our country, the entire United States. So I really had to, reflect on myself and take a deep breath and realize that I had one of the most important jobs. I was supposed to be a leader for the team, and I kind of had to forget about my own personal, my obstacle that I had to overcome and be there for the team. So we ended up doing really well at the team competition. We got 1st place and won a gold medal. So that was a dream come true, and just looking back, everything was worth it. So I brought the medal here if you guys would like to see it. Just looking at this, it kind of represents all those years of hard work, and from a very young age of 10, when I started missing school and giving up all these sacrifices. That's what I think when I look at this. It's just all the years of hard work that I put into the sport. So since the Olympics, I've been doing a lot of cool things. I've been able to travel and speak to a lot of people and give them kind of my story and my advice. So it's been a lot of fun. We actually did a 40-city tour after the Olympics. We went around to a bunch of different cities and performed in a show and visited all our fans. So that was really cool. And since then, I've been back in high school. I'm going to graduate this year, and now I'm here talking to you guys. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, don't be afraid to raise your hand, and I'll call on you. So don't be shy. Okay, yeah.
Were you already flexible when you joined gymnastics?
She said, was I already flexible when I joined gymnastics? Actually, I was not. I had to work really hard at flexibility. You probably saw in the video, my coach was pushing me down in the splits, but no, flexibility was one of my weaknesses, actually. I had to work on it really hard, so it didn't come easy. But, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. It's kind of a very long process. First of all, you have to be on the national team. And I first made the national team when I was 11, and I made it every year after that. So when you're on the national team, you can go to different competitions, international ones across different countries. So I went to a lot of different ones just to get experience and get my name out there. I went to Belgium, Japan, Australia, Guatemala, Italy, a bunch of different places for all these competitions. And then once you kind of prove yourself in the gymnastics world, you can continue making the national team, and then you can try. And then once you're on the national team, you can go to the Olympic trials. So it's very competitive. Like I said, there's only 5 girls that make the team, and there's probably 20 girls at Olympic trials. So it was very tough competition. Well, over the years, I did have to deal with a lot of injuries. One time I actually tore my hamstring, and I was out of competition for 14 months. that was pretty tough. And yeah, gymnastics comes with a lot of injuries. It's kind of expected, but it's all about staying as healthy as you can and coming back strong. And but yeah, there were a lot of times that I fell and things like that. So okay, go ahead. Well, after the Olympics was over, we got to actually travel a lot together, the 5 of us, including Gabby, and we got to do a lot of appearances and things like that. But now we're kind of all doing our separate things. We all live in different parts of the country, so we're just traveling. But we always keep in touch. We Skype and text each other and things like that. So. Go ahead. Well, my favorite place was London, of course, and then besides that, I really liked going to Tokyo. That was a really fun place to be. We were there for like 3 weeks, so I got to kind of see a lot of it. So, go ahead. Gymnastics was pretty much the only sport I ever did. When I was really young, I did like zone soccer and dance, but once I got really competitive in gymnastics, I didn't really have time for any other sports. I dedicated all of my time to gymnastics, and also I didn't want to do other sports because I would risk getting injured, and my coach would not be happy with me if I got injured, doing something else. But yeah, gymnastics has pretty much been the only sport that I've done. So.
Are you going to prom?
I am going to prom this year. Yeah. My dress it's like coral colored. So. No, I have 3 other siblings, and none of them are gymnasts. My older sister is a runner, and my brother played football in high school, and then my younger sister, right now, she's kind of into cheerleading. So. Sorry, what was that?
Did it hurt when you had to sit on your own and do the splits?
Yeah, it definitely hurts. But like I said, I had to do whatever it took to get to the Olympics. That was one of the things I had to work on really hard, and I was willing to, endure whatever it took. So.
Jordyn, can you talk a little bit about the experience that you had at the Olympics competing? What is that like? I mean, a lot of us just look at it on TV, but we don't get a chance to go to the Olympics, let alone have a chance to compete. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Yeah. So we got to London about 2 weeks before we actually started competing. And we stayed in the Olympic Village, which was a really cool experience. I didn't really know what to expect going into London or what the village would be like. But basically it's like a bunch of college dorm buildings. That's what it looks like. And every athlete from every country and every sport stays there. So that was pretty cool. We got to meet a lot of people, a lot of athletes, and it's actually pretty, really protected by security. So every time you left the village or came back in, you had to get scanned, kind of like airport security. But that was a really cool experience, and just walking into the Olympic arena, I was so overwhelmed with emotions, and I really had to kind of take a deep breath because we competed literally 5 seconds later. So that was really incredible experience. Just looking around the arena and seeing American flags everywhere was just amazing. And my whole family was able to go and watch, including my best friend's family and my cousin's whole family. So that was really special that I had my own little cheering section in the crowd. So. Go ahead.
Who was your inspiration?
A lot of people inspired me. I always looked up to other Olympians when I was younger, watching them on TV. You probably have heard of Shawn Johnson or Nastia Liukin. They were the Olympians before me, so of course I looked up to them. They were my role models, and also on a non-gymnastics level, my older sister really inspired me. She's a very, very hard worker. She's actually graduating medical school next week, so she has worked really hard to get where she's at, and just seeing her work hard and be a role model for me really helped me throughout the years. So, go ahead.
Did you meet LeBron James?
No. Nope, I never met him.
What are your goals after high school?
My goals after high school. Well, I'm graduating in about a month, and then after that, I'm just kind of enjoying the summer and training a little bit, and then hopefully in the near future I can get back to competition. I definitely don't feel like I'm done with gymnastics yet. I still want to continue. I still have big goals for myself, so looking forward to that. And then after I'm done with gymnastics, I'm going on to college at UCLA, and then I'm going to be the undergrad assistant coach for the gymnastics team there. So I'm very excited about that. Go ahead. Sorry, what did you say? Paid? There is a chance you can go professional in gymnastics, and I kind of made that decision after I became world champion. I decided to go professional, and then once you do that, you can get different sponsors or endorsements. So, for example, I was sponsored by Kellogg's at one point, and I got to be on the cornflakes box, so that was pretty cool. And then I was able to pay for training and everything like that. So. But then if you go professional, you also cannot compete for a college when you're older. So that's why I'm going to do the undergrad assistant coaching, was because I gave up my college eligibility to compete. So, go ahead.
Can you put your leg behind it?
Yeah, I think so. You had a question right here in the scarf? The right side.
Has your life changed after you went to London?
Yes, my life has changed so much. Like I said, I've done a lot of traveling, getting the chance to come to schools or events and speak to people, which is really cool. And then also just like everyday life has changed a lot. I don't think my life will ever be the same after the Olympics, but it's changed in a good way. So, lots of people sometimes recognize me when I go out, to the mall or anything, but it really means a lot to me because I'll get little girls come up to me and say, "You've inspired me to start gymnastics," and that really just means so much to me, and that's the reason why I do gymnastics. So.
Do people who weren't your friend try to be your friend now because of all your success and everything?
Not really in a bad way at all. A lot of, especially at my school, surprisingly, I was afraid to go back to school a little bit because I didn't know how people would treat me, if they'd be scared of me or intimidated or anything. But when I came back from the Olympics and I started school again, everyone treated me exactly the same, which was really cool. Because when I'm at school, I just get to be a normal teenager, and I'm the same as every other student. So that was really awesome. But I don't think it's ever too late to start gymnastics, If you, they have, classes just for fun or classes if you want to compete, so I don't think it's ever too late. And even if you just enjoy it, that's great too. I think gymnastics is an amazing sport, and it's good. It keeps you healthy, it's fun, kind of forces you to overcome a lot of fears too, because gymnastics, you have to be pretty fearless. The 2016 Olympics is definitely in the back of my mind. I don't want to be done with gymnastics yet. I still have a lot of goals, and if I make it that far, if I stay healthy enough to go to the 2016 Olympics, then I would love to. So I'm definitely keeping that in the back of my mind and just kind of taking it one step at a time from here. Anybody else?
You said you had school part-time. How did you finish your schoolwork and get your grades?
What I meant when I said that was I only go to school half of a day, and then the classes that I miss, I take online classes. So one of the sacrifices I had to make was, when on the weekends, when most people are kind of relaxing, taking a break from school, I had to sit down all day Sunday and do my online classes just to stay caught up with school and everything. So it was pretty hard to balance everything, but right now I'm glad that I kept up with everything because I'm able to graduate with the same class that I've been with for all of my school. So it's pretty awesome.
You said that you made a lot of sacrifices. to get to where you are today. What was the hardest sacrifice you had to make?
I don't know if I could choose the hardest. Just a few things. I had to give up family vacations. A lot of times my whole family would go on vacation for spring break and I'd stay home and train. So that's something I had to give up. And then, of course, I always had to eat healthy. So giving up a lot of, junk food and everything like that. And then just, a lot of times, I'd rather, if I felt like I wanted to just go to the movies with my friends, I had to give that up and go to practice instead, even when I didn't feel like it. So those are just a few things I had to give up and sacrifice.
Did you watch your individual all around? Did you actually watch it on TV?
Did I watch what?
The Olympics, your Olympic individual all around. Did you actually finally watch it?
Well, I wasn't in the individual all around, but I went back and watched the team finals. So that was pretty cool to watch, kind of from the outside, because just to experience it and then go back and watch the coverage was kind of brought back a lot of emotions. So it was pretty cool.
Can you show us the trick?
I can't. We usually have like mats, and I'm wearing these boots. So. I can do splits, but I'll do it at the end.
There was a question right back here.
Well, the one thing that motivated me and kept me going was I just loved the sport. I loved being in the gym. I had teammates that were my best friends, so even though I had to give up hanging out with my school friends, I would go to the gym and be able to hang out with my teammates. So that was fun for me, and just, I always had that dream of the Olympics going in the back of my mind. So that's what kept me motivated, and just the fact that I had such a passion for the sport, that's what kept me going every day, and I never felt like I wanted to quit. That's a good question. I wasn't actually that nervous once we were out there on the competition floor at the Olympics, because we got to London 2 weeks before and we were able to train on the equipment and kind of feel comfortable, and by the time we were out there competing, you kind of just put your brain on autopilot and you know what to do. You just kind of take a deep breath and just remember all the training that you put in before that. And I wasn't really afraid to fall, because once you put those thoughts of falling into your head, that's when you make a mistake. So I just kind of thought really positive and just believed in myself.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No, I don't have time to have a boyfriend.
Was there a time in being a gymnast and going around the country, was there a time that it was difficult for you and your family?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Not just me, but also my family had to give up a lot because of my gymnastics. Especially my siblings. A lot of times my parents would be traveling with me to competitions and they'd have to stay home, things like that. So I know they had to deal with a lot, and I'm thankful that I had such a great support system with my family and everything. So that's been great over the years.
What's your favorite event?
My favorite event is either beam or vault. Beam has always been my favorite event, but recently I like vault too. So.
I think we're only going to do a couple more questions, and so one right over there.
Were you the youngest one?
No, I was not the youngest. My teammate Kyla Ross was actually the youngest on our team, but for gymnastics, you have to be at least 16 years old to go to the Olympics. There is, an age that you have to be.
And last one.
Are you famous?
I guess that's up to you. I don't know.
Yes. Right.
You got one more? Let's go one more. One more. Go ahead.
I think when I hurt my hamstring, just because it took me so long to heal from it, and hamstrings are tough because if you start back too early, if it's still hurting a little bit but not that much, if you start doing stuff again, then it only gets worse. So I had to make sure my hamstring was completely healed before I could start doing gymnastics again. So that was my toughest injury, I'd have to say.
And Jordyn, just to finish out, do you have any words in your youthfulness Do you have any words of wisdom for our young females?
I'd say my words of wisdom would be, whether you're a gymnast or any sport that you do, if you have that goal in your mind, then stick to it. Don't let any outside distractions, keep you from reaching your goals, because, once you reach them, it'll be all worth every sacrifice that you've ever made. So.
Perfect. Ladies, could you please give her
Thank you.
autographed pictures for you at the exits.
Don't get me
So
excited.
please make sure that you grab them.
I don't get
If
one.
I could please have the Westwood young ladies to rise, stand up. Oh, you got more?
They want me to do the split.
Oh,